Hey y'all, it's Lindsey. This winter has been the season of trying out a lot of different kitchen devices for me, and I am super jazzed because Zstar sent me their 7-in-1 grill air fryer combo situation to try out. I'm kind of excited about it, and I've been waiting for an opportunity to film unboxing this thing, and I'm so curious. What does it look like? How big is it? What is it gonna do for me? Is it really worth the investment? I don't even know. Let's go figure it out. So this is the Zstar air fryer grill, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out of the box so that I can read about it and test it out. Be blessed by the sunlight peeking through my back door. Okay. Looks like we have a grate of some kind. Put that to the side. Packaged up. Oh, stars, this is intense. It's intense. Okay. Where do I grip it? Okay, we're getting there. Oh, wow, look at you. It kind of reminds me of a printer. Oof. All right, so we have the indoor grill here. More stuff and things in here. Packaging, some nice little tongs. What I'm really after is the owner's manual, so I'm gonna go and read up on this. We've got some basket action in here. I'm sure all of this needs to get washed. And then this little guy in here. Okay, lots of parts. Okay. I am gonna go sit down with my coffee and read the owner's manual to learn more about this fella before I start messing with it. All right, Zstar 7-in-1 grill air fryer combo is on the counter. We are winning at life. So this thing kind of reminds me of the size of like an at-home printer. It's you know, not massive, but it's really substantial. It has the control panel here on the lid. We can modify our temperature. We can modify our time. We have a bacon setting, roast, grill, veggie setting, preheat option, dehydrate function, and the air crisps, like an air fryer setting. You have your power button here, you have your start stop button here, and this little zone right here, it looks like it's got buttons, but it's just some tips for you, and it's kind of nice to have this little barrier between you and the heating element situation. The instructions did say that it gets hot, so be mindful and try not to touch any of it, except for the designated areas like the handle and whatnot. When it is hot, there is a grill tray here. This is the little cooking pot, I believe is how they labeled it. And then you set that on top. These parts are washable. And the basket. One nice thing is that this extra accessory, everything fits in the air fryer when it's stored, so you don't need to have tons of extra space for it beyond just the footprint of the air fryer. I have a pretty standard height cabinet, I think, and it is able to be lifted up beneath the cabinet here, so storage wise it won't be terrible. I do not know if I would leave it sitting under a cabinet while it is operating. I think there's some vents up underneath the handle there for the actual fan. So that's there. Yeah, it looks like the fan vents out along the computer panel here. So there's that. When we power up, it automatically goes to 380 with 15 minutes on the time. We can increase. We can decrease on both time and temperature. The bacon setting only goes for 5 minutes at 380. Roast is 400 degrees for 22 minutes. Grill 450 for 6 minutes. Veggies 300 for 12. The preheat function is very similar to other air fryers, 400 for 5 minutes. Can we adjust that? We sure can. Look at that. And you can change the temperature as well on that preheat. Dehydrate, wow, it goes down to 120. What's the lowest? Okay. 100 degrees Fahrenheit on the lowest for the dehydrate function, and then that 180 is the highest. That's cool. I wonder what time you can go up to. Looks like 24 hours on the dehydrate function. Cool, cool. And then air crisp. If you are new here, I am Lindsay. Here on my channel, I do what I eat in a day videos. I share recipes. I like to talk about health and wellness as it pertains to my specific experience and my quest to achieve health and wellness. If any of those things interest you, I would love for you to poke around the channel and decide if I am worthy of your subscription feed. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. I am super pumped to give this indoor grill a try. This is not something I have done before. Usually my husband mans the grill and it's outside, or we have a Blackstone that is kind of like a smaller size that he uses out in the garage zone. But being able to try to grill inside, I'm excited to give this a shot. Let's figure out something to cook. I think the first thing that I'm going to try to cook in the Zstar grill air fryer is going to be some of this Wright's thick cut bacon. I've got everything clean. It's all plugged in. I think I just need to figure out how to set you up so you can observe the situation. I am gonna go ahead and preheat the Zstar here. So it beeped at me and told me that it was ready here on the screen, and then the fan continued to blow for about 30 more seconds. And so we are ready to place the bacon. I pulled 6 slices out. I'm not too sure if this grill is going to be able to hold 6 slices. Also, please work with me here because I am one-handed while manning the camera here. Let us see. Maybe I can just try 4 to start. Yeah. Let's give it 4. Don't want to overcrowd the grill here. Okay. I gotta go wash this. All right, clean hands. Let's lower this down. This is thick cut bacon, so I don't know if the preset on bacon is gonna be sufficient or if I'm gonna need to do it for a little bit longer, but I'm gonna go ahead and give the preset a try first. I really like seeing the food in there. I can tell if it's gonna get burnt. I can decide if I wanna flip something over. That's a nice little feature, and I don't lose any of the heat while it's operating. Okay, my timer just went off. It says ready, and as you can hear, the fan is still whizzing away. Let's take a little look here. I'm gonna flip it over, and then let's do it for another like 3 minutes maybe. Let's close that so we don't lose any heat. And we're done. This looks like some fantastic bacon. Fresh paper towels as a landing zone. Well, that's some beautiful bacon right there. I've let this bacon sit for about 45 seconds or so. It is not hyper crispy. That thick cut bacon, I think it will not get as crispy as, say, a regular cut bacon would, but I also don't love super crispy bacon. I prefer mine to have a little bit of chewiness to it, so this is about right for me. I frequently like to cook my family London broils, or I think it's also called a top round roast. I have one right here. These can be a little bit tricky. You hear the word roast and you think low and slow, but the reality with the London broil is you want to marinate it, and then you want to kind of do a quick cook, a more of a sear type of a cook. But I thought today I could put some marinade on this London broil, and then once it's fully marinated, I could try it out on the indoor grill here. Okay, I have my ingredients here that I'm gonna do in this marinade. I don't really tend to follow recipes exactly. I just kind of figure out, like, you need something acidic, you need some kind of an oil or a fat, and then some kind of flavorings. Those are generally what you want. I've got just a mixing container, about 3/4 of a cup, maybe a cup, just a little bit less than a cup of avocado oil. I'm going to add my acidity, probably about 1/3 of a cup of some red wine vinegar. Let's go ahead and do some Worcestershire sauce because that provides a ton of flavor. Maybe like a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of that. You do sometimes want to add some sweetness. If you have Swerve, the brown sugar Swerve, then you can definitely use that. If you do not have brown sugar Swerve, you can use a keto-friendly sweetener like allulose or erythritol, and for that kind of like the brown sugar flavor, add just like a 1/2 teaspoon or like just like the tiniest little dribble of some molasses. It does increase your carb count a tiny bit. Given the volume of liquid here, maybe I'll do about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of some allulose, maybe 1/2 cup. And then just like the tiniest little dribble, I'm gonna call that a teaspoon. Let's go ahead and add in some salt. I've got my Redmond's real salt here. All right, about a tablespoon of salt, a small palmful of black pepper, a little bit less black pepper than I did salt, so maybe like, I don't know, 1.5 teaspoons. And then I do want some garlic in there. I do have pre-minced garlic. You're welcome to add fresh garlic. That was probably about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Let's add some rosemary to go along with that red wine. I don't have any fresh, but I do have some dried, and I'm gonna kind of like try to crush that as I get that in there. Try to release some of the natural oils in that. Gonna take a dish. You can use a plastic bag if you would prefer. I'm gonna put my lid on my container and allow that to sit in the fridge for probably an hour, and then I'm gonna flip my meat over to let it continue marinating. My plan is to let this sit for probably about 2 to 4 hours total, depending on when I can get to cooking this. I have everything cleaned here, and I've got the air fryer basket in the machine. I want to try out the vegetable preset here, but I need to preheat this since it's been a little while since it's been on. I have a sweet potato that I cubed up over here. I have a little bit of avocado oil, some salt, pepper, and cinnamon on this. I want to see how these do in that air fryer basket. Preheat is finished, so I'm going to take my sweet potato and kind of get it in there. Try to keep a single layer. We are giving the veggie setting a try. That's not going to be hot enough for these to roast, so the shake notification sounded, so I'm going to give them a little toss with that basket. It's pretty easy with some pot holders, and let it continue. All right, these look really nice. They sound incredible. I'm going to pop that on a hot pad. Add in the grate, and I'm gonna put my London broil in this after I preheat. The air fryer is ready. Here is my top round roast. I'm going to use the grill preset on the Zstar, and I like the setting of 450 degrees for 6 minutes. Timer is done. The roast looks delightful. I'm going to take the temperature. My goal is 130 degrees for a medium rare roast. Flip her over, and we're going to continue on for another 6 minutes at that 450 degrees. I did cook it for an additional 3 minutes after the second 6 minutes was over, and got some gorgeous caramelization here. It needs to rest for about 10 minutes to let the juices redistribute throughout the roast, and then we can slice. Grilling this roast for the full 15 minutes was a little bit long on this flatter, thinner side of the roast, so that area was more well done. However, the Zstar did a beautiful job with this roast. I typically will cook the London broil on the stovetop really quickly on super high heat, but I felt that the Zstar made it a much easier process
with a lot less guesswork. We were a little impatient and ready to eat dinner, so I did not let the roast rest for as long as I should have, but it still turned out delicious. And those sweet potatoes were absolutely perfect. Super crispy, cooked well all the way through. 10 out of 10 recommend.
It has been a couple days since I cooked that London broil and those sweet potatoes and the bacon, and I just wanted to leave the Zstar out on my counter for a few days just to see how it integrated into our usage of air fryers. And I can tell you this much. That thing is super easy to clean on the grill plate and the air fryer basket. The little cooking pot, that's sort of like the drip tray portion, is really easy to clean as well. My husband used it to cook bacon yesterday morning and it worked out really nicely. I think that it is a really useful and handy tool if you don't already have an air fryer. I found that making cheese toast. I made cheese toast yesterday with egg white bread. I typically will use my other air fryer back here, the basket air fryer, and make cheese toast, but I find that the cheese tends to slide around on me a little bit, or the bread slides around a little bit when you go and click the basket into the machine. With the Zstar, having that lowered lid, or that lid that, you know, is on a hinge, that seems to not jostle around the bread and the cheese, so your things stay placed properly. And with that little window in the front, you can tell if something has scooted around on you or not. I do think that the Zstar 7-in-1 air fryer grill has a place in the kitchen. It was really easy to cook that London broil. That was definitely a win for me, because London broil can be a little bit of a tricky technique to use on those top round roasts. I think if you are just out on your own and you're just like getting your kitchen started, this is a great thing to have. If you live in a smaller apartment where you can't maybe have a real grill out on a patio, or if there are limitations wherever it is that you live to where you can't use a grill with like either propane or charcoal or whatever you may want to use, this Zstar back here it's really useful. I think you could probably fit between 4 and 6 average burger patties on the grill portion. It definitely is a smaller working surface than most grills out there, but if you're just trying to cook for you, or if you have the small apartment type situation, or if you just want to be able to grill something indoors, small, quick, easy, I think the Zstar might be a splendid option for you. I am going to put a link to the Zstar 7-in-1 air fryer grill in my description box below if you are interested in checking it out, looking at other reviews, and I hope to see you in my next video.